Nick Cage and horror. Two of my favorite things when it comes to movies, and they were brought together for the brand new film, Longlegs. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is my review of the brand new horror film, Longlegs. This movie's been getting a lot of talk and a lot of press around about how great it is, how it feels like Silence of the Lambs, how it is a outstanding new film from Nick Cage and from this director, and I knew I had to go check it out. I heard all this buzz before the movie even came out, so I went and watched it opening night. I saw the premiere in my hometown where it first came out here. And overall, I thought this was a solid film. Before I get into my review, I do want to say I know the film came out a while ago and I saw it. I said I saw it opening night. I truly did. It's just that I have a full-time job, and my girlfriend who helps with this channel, she is my editor. She has a full-time job, so it's hard to get around to making content and getting it ready to be uploaded, but we try for you guys, and we're going to continue to build and grow, and hopefully one day we can figure this all out and we can, get out content and do our jobs at the same time. But for now, this is what we got, and I still want to bring you a review because it's a very highly talked about movie, and I enjoyed it, so I want to put down my thoughts on it. And overall, like I said, this is a good film. I do have the sense of it being a Silence of the Lambs type movie, like a lot of people have said. However, where Silence of the Lambs follows this more traditional thriller, serial killer style film, this one goes a little bit off the rails and kind of goes into a demonic possession type movie. If I had to explain it to somebody who who knows about movies and has seen movies, I would probably tell them that it's Silence of the Lambs meets Annabelle comes together into one film. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about, the Annabelle reference, because of what Nick Cage's character does and how he goes about killing these girls, killing these families in this movie. Now, I do think this movie was very, very hyped up and maybe a little bit overhyped up, and that could have hurt my overall thoughts on this film, but I still try to go in with open mind and, a clear mind and just accept films for what they are so I can give them a good and honest review and score when I do these reviews on my channel. I think that the main actress in this movie was the standout. I thought she did a great job. And I felt that her partner in this film, he also was a solid actor. If you know me, you know that I'm a huge Nick Cage fan. I go to see every single movie that Nick Cage puts out, every single movie he's acted in. So even the really shitty ones that come out I see, like Retirement Plan, or every once in a while you get a great one like Pig. I think this movie falls right in the middle for that for Nick Cage. But here is my one issue with this. Nick Cage, to me, will always be that funny, quirky actor. So, when Nick Cage is trying to pull off this freaky horror villain, I can't really get by it. There's a lot of times in this movie where he's screaming and yelling like Nick Cage does, and it's trying to scare you. It's trying to be a serious and scary scene. And not only me, but half the theater is laughing because we know it's Nick Cage, and we know that this is what he does in his movies. And so when he's screaming in this movie like he does in National Treasure, you can't really accept it as scary. That being said, I am happy that Nick Cage got this role because I love him, and seeing him as a horror villain, seeing him in this Hannibal Lecter type role was pretty cool. Honestly, more aligned with Buffalo Bill than Hannibal Lecter, but you know what I mean. It was cool to see. I just don't know if this was the role for him. Maybe early on in his career it would have been better for him, but after being an established actor and knowing him for who he was, it was a bit strange to see. There was a couple twists and turns in this movie, which I don't want to get into those fully because if you haven't seen this, that will spoil the entirety of the movie for you. But I do think these twists and turns were handled very well. A lot of times in modern day horror movies or modern day thrillers, these twists come into the movie, 3/4 of the way through or at the very end, and they feel like you've seen them before. They feel overdone, and they almost feel like a movie cliche. And I think that's because thrillers and horror movies of that style were so big in the 90s and 2000s that all the good ideas may be taken already. But for this one, while it isn't anything new or anything, that we've never seen before, it is fresh and it does feel like something new because of that. I think the director put a really good spin on these twists and turns, and they do leave you being a bit shocked all the way through the last third of this film. Speaking of that last third, I think this is a movie that starts off really well and continues to build off that start as it goes on. I know a lot of people did have a issue with the ending because the ending doesn't really tie the story together or give you a lot of closure, but for me, I like that open-endedness, and I don't mind when movies don't have closure endings because I like to make up my own ending in my head and think to myself, wow, this is how I vision this movie ending, while person A visions it another way and person V visions it another way. I think it's cool to have these conversations and to discuss these things and try to come to a conclusion when it's not exactly written for you and shown to you on the screen. It's the same thing as reading a book. Not all books have closed endings, and you have to just place it all together in your own mind with the pictures you're forming in your head from the words you're reading. And I do enjoy that. Like I said, I think the performances were all pretty solid. I think the main girl was the best. I think Nick Cage, while it seems like he had fun in this role and I enjoyed watching this role, it felt a bit too silly to be scary to me. I heard some people saying scariest movie of the year. I don't agree with that. This movie didn't genuinely scare me at all. I found it fun, I found it interesting, but I wouldn't say it was the scariest of the year. Getting into my final overall thoughts for this movie, I do recommend you going to see it. It does feel like a movie that will soon one day be a cult classic among horror fans. I do see that coming around. It already is starting to get that cult classic vibe with all these people talking about it, but not everyone going to see it. For overall score, I'm going to go ahead and go with a 7 out of 10. I think it's solid. I think it's good. I think it's fun. If somebody said, hey, would you want to watch Longlegs? I wouldn't say no, but it wouldn't be my pick to put on again. If I want to watch a movie like this, I'm not going to lie, I'm just going to watch Sounds of the Lambs. Or I'm going to watch Annabelle Creation, or something else that feels like this movie that isn't this one. Like I said, wouldn't be against watching it, but I wouldn't pick it myself. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my review. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Longlegs. Did you find it the scariest movie of the year, or does another movie hold that title for you? If so, let me know below what that movie is. Thank you all so much and have a great day.